Mary Allison, Charity Coordinator with Bridge for Heroes, here with Steve Millard, one of our well-established beneficiaries and volunteers. You served some time ago now, so perhaps a little bit about what brought you to service and then when that was.
Yeah, I joined up in '69. By irony, 55 years ago yesterday I was attested in the RAF. Full career of 38 years, retiring as a warrant officer in 2007. A lot of good times and a lot of, unfortunately, very, very bad times. And when I left, my health was physically and mentally damaged. And so the first 5-6 years after I left, I spent a lot of time looking at four blooming walls or a computer screen, just to do something to keep my brain active. But I found it was quite damaging for me, so fortunately I changed that.
So in terms of when you left, so what sort of support was there back then?
Well, I sought 0 and I received 0. I'm not blaming people, it was me.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So in terms of your actual transition process from service to civilian life, and that sort of, I know we talk about resettlement and things, did you do anything in that period, or was...
I did a resettlement course, accountancy for managers, absolute waste of time. For example, the tutor would give you homework to do on things that you were going to do tomorrow, but didn't actually give you the answers to how you did. And in fact, it was that 2 to 3 weeks after we finished the course, we received an email with the answers. Didn't learn much on that. When I then came out, no, it was a parting the ways. And, I came to the conclusion that I had to decide what to do in my life. I chose, if I'll give myself a year of doing basically nothing, finding out whether I was financially sound, because I'm a single man in my own house and you obviously have all those bills, but also would I get up in the morning? Well, I did get up and I was sound financially, but I still had the other problems, baggage and such.
Yeah. So what brought you to the Bridge, or when did you first hear about the Bridge for Heroes?
It's about 11 years ago. Can't give an exact date, about 11 years ago. I was and still am a member of the local plastic bottle club, the West Norfolk IPMS, and the chairman at the time found out about this place, and we were invited to see whether we could use more plastic modelling, aircraft, ship figures, armour, whatever, as a medium to help veterans, particularly with problems. Well, unfortunately it didn't work here. We only had a small facility at the time. It just didn't work, because bringing all the stuff in and taking it, we didn't really do very much. But I never left. And then in due course became a volunteer.
So initially then, did you formally sign up as a beneficiary, and then what form did that take?
Yes, long time ago. I must have filled something in at some time, signed something, but I don't remember. Because that was one of the issues. I had a lot of memory problems in those days.
Yeah. So in terms of what sort of, do you have an idea of what sort of support you were looking for, or what support you found at the Bridge?
No. I didn't know what I was looking for. I don't know if I even would admit to myself or others out loud that I had a problem. But you just learn you're just sitting, having a coffee and with people chatting, you learn things, and I think it developed from that. I did, though I've never formally sought assistance, as in CBT or anything like this, but just the therapeutic effect of talking with people who care made a huge difference.
Yeah. So in terms of what does your volunteer role look like at the Bridge? Initially
it was essentially talking, and as a secondary thing, at that time we had a museum, really a wonderful place. I've never seen the like of it. And I did a lot of the displays and a lot of the chatting with people, because we would go over the weekend, we'd have families in and school visits and things. But the aspects I loved about that museum, and I regret it when it had to, because of finances. You'd get a classroom of kids in, and you stand up, welcome them all, and you say, right, these are the rules, kids, and you go, oh, blooming heck, sort of thing. And you'd say, right, kids, can you see those 3 cabinets over there? You're not allowed to touch the things in there. But everything else, wear it, put it on, jump on it, do what you like. And you could see the abject and utter joy that just those simple things, that kiddies could touch things and play with things. They were encouraged to do so. In fact, demanded that they did so. It was delightful. Yeah, we did quite a few bits and pieces with that, lots of military history things, and I'm sad to this day that it went, but it was what it was.
Yeah, but I think it's like you said about that, exposing young people to, I guess the reality of the wars were a bit far, but that, understanding that sort of history and sort of culture and heritage that they've come from, and actually, and again, like you said, that importance of being able to have that sort of physical hands-on appreciation.
I'm not saying, being in the Air Force and therefore not handling guns very often, though I know a bit about guns, I've never really been comfortable with them because guns are made to kill. I know it's not actually strictly true because it's the person who kills. But I don't like to see glorification of them with kiddies, and we still do think don't point at people, because you point at people you're going to kill them. And it's so ingrained in the grey matter that you can't overcome that.
So in terms of your volunteering role, we see you very frequently in the bridge. So perhaps describe what does your volunteering week look like at the Bridge for Heroes?
For a while now, I've been doing Wednesdays, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, with Saturday being a shorter day. Purely because I love it. It's as simple as that. I believe I help people by chatting and other aspects that I'll come to. But the key point for me is for almost the first time in my life, I have a bag full of really good friends, people that I can truly depend on, and particularly this last year or so, I've had a lot of health issues, and the love I've received from people is immense.
No, I think that's it in terms of, I know my experience here, it is important having those sort of key personalities, if you like, who are always present, always there, and again that sort of gives an element of continuity, doesn't it? Because people will come in and they'll look for people that they met last time.
Yeah, actually, even more than that, on my personal basis and on the health basis, I had made quite severe cancer surgery on my bones, and I came in the first time, and it looked awful. It looked as if the Comanches had just tried to take my bones off. And one of the first guys walked in, and no one on this earth could have said better than he did. Because his first comment was, "Have they done you yet, Steve?" "Yes." Followed by, because I've got this heart-shaped or bottom-shaped scar, and he said, "I've always said you talk out of your backside, to be polite." And the thing that got me the most, apart from I was in tears of laughter, was all the other people in there, and you could see a reluctance to actually talk too much. That broke that barrier in a split second, and the barrier's never risen again. It was amazing.
Yeah. No, and again, I think that's something we've worked really hard at the Bridge here in terms of, I know people often talk about things like banter and camaraderie, and sometimes we can use banter in the sense that it excuses poor behaviour or poor interactions with people. But again, we've worked really hard for people to be sort of comfortable enough for people like you say, to share that kind of, for some people it might be a bit sort of black humour or that kind of thing, but it's the nature of where we've been, I think, in terms of our lives. And
well, it certainly helped with my hopeful recovery. The fact that no one judges, no one's, "Oh, you've got a scar."
And it's interesting to hear them sort of speaking together or sharing that sort of peer support or that knowledge and understanding of lived experience. And
the other things I found with that, how not even on days where people should be working, let's say a Sunday, people giving me transport to hospitals. Lots of mileage in their own time, and it's not once, this has happened multiple times. It's so special.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things I like about the Bridge as well, the idea that I think sometimes we give people almost a purpose in life, and this idea that you can actually do little things that make a difference. And sometimes it's almost giving people permission, because I know some of our volunteers feel like they don't do enough to be called volunteers. But I mean, what would you say to them?
Do anything, do something. Even a smile and a welcome is magical to start with. But You get somebody with worries and somebody smiles, you can say, "Oh, can I get? Do you want to come in and join us, have a seat? And I'm Fred, and this is Mary, whatever." But it's, or a cup, just the offer of a cup of coffee, or a handshake, but mainly just someone to sit and talk and get you out of those four blooming walls. Because that's been a thing I'm very aware of, and so many people have spoken to you in the years here. Those four blooming walls, though they don't use that language. Yeah.
So you have been with the charity for a long while. What's been the best sort of changes that you've seen in the time you've been with us?
Considering who the two ladies I'm involved with in here today, and the other staff, I believe now we have the best staffing, not just in numbers but in personalities, the most caring we've ever had. We've had individuals who've been brilliant. Sharon, as I mentioned earlier, that's an absolute 1 in 10 billion person. She's brilliant, and there are others. But there's now a team of the staff, rather not the volunteers. I'll come to that are just amazing in my view, because they've all got a sense of humour, which is so important, but they care, and the caring bit is by far the most important. Volunteer-wise, we don't have enough, and I also believe we don't have enough who truly volunteer, and I don't be criticised because they've all got a life as well. But some of the ones that do, we got one guy, we were doing, we had a lunch on Christmas Day here for those who live on their own, and this guy came in on Christmas Day to do the washing up. Can't explain that.
No, and I think, for me, like you say, there's such a sense of community and that sort of inclusivity, and having people come in. And actually, I don't know if you said to you, we have had our visitors that came, I think, from Peterborough, and one of those gentlemen, he just phoned up just to say what a lovely time he'd had.
Oh, right.
He said, I've received my emails, my activity, and my newsletter. He said, I just wanted to tell you what a great time I had, and I hope to be able to sort of come back to visit. And again, there was nothing other than thank you for what you're doing, and it's great.
Yeah. I know we make a difference. As simple as that, we definitely do. We make mistakes, but we human beings, of course we will. But boy, we made a lot of people very much happier than they were.
Yeah. So moving forward, what would you like to see the bridge? Not necessarily. What would you like to see the bridge become? What would you like to see the bridge offer? What do you think we could do differently or improve on?
I find that difficult. I've never been a really forward-thinking person. I'm more reactive than proactive. Stability in staff, both in individuals and quality of staff, is vital. More volunteers, not to spread the load, because we're not maxed out, or at least from the volunteer side we're not. I don't know is the answer. Improve facilities, improve funding, but that's outside my control. Unfortunately, we seem to be doing moderately well on that at the moment, and we've just got. I just delighted it. I would miss this place if it went. God, would I miss this place? But it would be devastating for so many of us. When you think some of us are in, or some people are in here 4, 5 of the 6 days a week, that does tell a story. People come in. There's a fairly new beneficiary. Came in one day, quiet as a lamb, still quite quiet, but he's in most days. And you just got to look at him and see how he's eased down. And we haven't even had to insult him yet. We have to change that.
Well, I think yes, I know the individual that you're speaking of, and I know he's also said that his family have noticed the difference in him, and he feels in himself, just more like himself. Yeah. It's obviously he's given himself permission to look after himself, come in, and
One of the things I in part was involved with, because it was a bit polite before I arrived. We used to get people come in with, particularly those with a psychological issue rather than a physical issue, quite unsure of themselves, and basically just ask who they are and then insult them. And you could see these people, just their shoulders would just ease off and think, God, we speak the same language, this could be good. That's an amazing thing. Yeah, we did something, but never particularly rudely.
Yeah. No, I think so. And again, it comes back to sort of that sort of gentle ribbing, or that banter between friends, between comrades. You know, again, like you say, you'd never be out on a date or a tour where you weren't laughing at somebody's expense. But I think that was, something that was understood, and I think that's something that perhaps people who, or in the civilian population certainly would never understand.
True, absolutely true. Yeah, you think the nicknames of trades and regiments and forces and things.
Oh yes, you've got a few nicknames, have you not?
Well, on my cup it says Crabfat, Fairy, Wobbly, Orange. Crabfat because that's the Royal Navy's term for the Air Force, and I won't explain why, because it's rude. Fairy because I was avionics and magical, and therefore no one knew who it was, and Wobbly Orange because I was a war officer. But I've even been given a teddy bear named Tinkerbell, because as the senior avionics warrant officer station, you are Queen of the Fairies.
And I think it's that sort of that gentle sort of familiarity, and just something that just brings a smile, doesn't it? I think it does.
Yeah. Well, I remember a few weeks ago when we had the mayor in on that VJ day, and he sort of looked at it, very odd.
So I'm just thinking, in terms of other, you do a lot to support the charity. I'm just thinking in terms of like your volunteering. So, for example, sort of the genealogy and the sort of historical research and stuff. Would you like to speak a little bit about your?
Yeah, on the genealogy side, it started. It started with my grandfather, my father's father, my paternal grandfather. When my parents were alive, my father knew nothing other than he died at Passchendaele. Didn't know his forename or anything, because my father was only about 3 at the time. He didn't die there, but that's by the by. And when he died, and then subsequently my mother died, I found, or my family, during the clearing out of the house, found a photograph of my paternal grandfather in uniform. And over a couple of years did the research and found a lot about him, even though his First World War records don't exist. And that was so once I'd done that, and they did the family line, I found out that people were interested here. So it started doing it basically to make money for the charity. And you do, in theory, it should only be for beneficiaries, but actually anyone, if they're going to give us money, why not? And as I was doing it in my own time, because it filled my hours in those 4 blooming walls again. And I've done quite a few. I'm currently doing one for one of our volunteers, and God, destroyed a few brain cells in this one. But I'm nearly there. But it can be interesting, particularly when you do a military one for a veteran, and how emotive that can be. That's a bit special. That means a lot to me. It can be infuriating, because you can spend hours and finding nothing, and then something will pop up that's just delightful. Yeah, it's a bit good. Definitely a bit good.
Well, I think, and again, sort of speaking of other sort of emotive things, and something, obviously the nature of the work we do and the sort of group of people that we work with, we have lost a few beneficiaries over the years.
Yeah.
But something we've decided to do, or was that sort of commemorating people that are, have had a role at the charity or have been regular beneficiaries. And again, I understand that you do a lot to support that effort as well. Yeah,
this was something, it came about by chance. Outside our building we have a garden, and over the years people started putting the Royal British Legion poppies on, or the crosses with a poppy on. And we had a few, and then one of our beneficiaries, actually they were volunteers number 1 and 2. And number 1, a man by the name of Roy, passed away. And so the next time this cross went out with his details on, then someone else put it on, and there were 3 or 4. And then we sort of almost forgot about them, because you don't look at them every day. And then they were having a tidy up in the garden, not because I'm not a gardener, and they were rotting away. So discussion came about, and it was thought, we must do something to do it, and we came upon various ideas. And it finished up where we have some slate grey tiles that a local tile shop, I can't name them obviously, but generously, very generously gave us nearly 100. And then we needed a bigger tile for a title, and that cost 85 quid, and they gave us that as well. So we finish up now with a memorial display which has a wide tile, probably 8 inches by 3, and we have the name of the individual as we knew them, because they're our mates and buddies, their service and their regimental cap badge or service cap badge. And for example, we had the formal unveiling a while ago, and we had the daughter of one of these people. In fact, 2 of the people were in tears. It was that emotive. It was very, very special. And yeah, I think all of us quite like it. We don't talk about it much downstairs, but it's a common thing we look at. It is nice.
I did have somebody was in the other day sort of, was asking about it. It was just lovely to be able to see that, that's what we have. And I know one of the individuals, that she was quite touched with the fact she could have somewhere to come or somewhere to bring family members to say, this is where, Dad was happy, or, this is where you
I'm sure I found on the odd occasion when I do have me stand there talking and looking at it, it does bring back a lot of memories of some of the personnel, people I know that are special to me, even though they passed away. There's some good men and women there. Boy, are there. Yeah. Fortunately, I think our most recent was an ex-sailor by the name of Alf, 99-year-old, an absolute gentleman with feet the size of canoes. Yeah. I don't know where he bought his shoes, but what a star that man was. It's lovely that he's remembered.